This is Skagway, Alaska. The biggest draw to Skagway, for at least tourists coming off a cruise ship, would be the White Pass Railway. Well, railroad, whatever you want to call it. They've had some mudslides up there, so the biggest draw to this town is not functioning right now, and there's a lot of irritated people. I wouldn't say irritated, they're a little sad. It is, I've been on that one before. Here's some clips of it right here. It's a pretty fun little train ride, and it's too bad it's shut down right now. But maybe next year, or next time I come to Alaska, it might be 2 years from now. Who knows? On to the rest of the city.
So if you don't know about Skagway, Skagway is a pretty historic town, but it's in southeast Alaska. It's north of Juneau and Haines, Alaska. And it's a popular stop for cruise ships that are going through the Inside Passage. That's how I got there. Now, there's a lot of interesting history to this place, but one thing that always sticks out, that if you take any kind of tour or anything there, they tell you that not a lot of gold was found in the Skagway area, even though Skagway is known as a gold rush town. They say the people that got rich here were the people mining the miners, basically supplying the miners, giving them alcohol, things like that, selling things to the people that thought they were coming here to strike it rich. These days, the economy of Skagway depends on tourism. They were in bad shape during the pandemic. No cruise ships, no money. It was rough. A lot of businesses never made it through that. There are a lot of empty shops in Skagway. Now, most businesses only stay open during the summer months, the cruise season. When it starts to get really cold, the cruise ships stop coming. It's like they head south for the winter. And all the shops close up. Late October, early November, the place is a ghost town. I've read a couple different things. Some people say that the shops start opening around mid-March. Some say it's not until the end of March, maybe middle of April. I looked at Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Lines websites, and they don't even start booking cruises till about the middle of April to Alaska. So that's a nice little vacation if you could swing it, you know? This red train thing here, this is how they cut through the snowpack during the winter when they need to use the train. They haven't used it in years. It's actually now a display thing, but interesting thing happened while we were looking at it. An older gentleman started talking to us about the train since he got out of high school. Actually, he didn't even get out of high school. It was like his senior year, about midway through, I believe he said. The train people showed up and said, "We need 5 people to work the train. Who wants a job?" They showed up at the school and they took off and went to work for the train. He's a retired train guy now. I wish I would have got more information on him. I think it would have been a great podcast, but he was very interesting, very nice. And what got me, which younger people in towns like this, tourist towns, they hate the tourists and they don't understand the economy. He did. He thanked us for coming there and spending our money, and he said it really helps out the town, and he said that's how we survive here. But he did mention that back in like 2001, he's the one, well, him and a crew, painted that train.
Thought we'd go down some of the side streets here, see what's going on around, I guess you could say, the off the main strip part of Skagway. There's not much to this place. There's the fire department.
Now, if you haven't picked up on it yet, Skagway has gone all in on the Gold Rush 1800s theme. The whole town looks like something out of the 1800s. A lot of the bars kind of go with that whole thing also. There's one bar called the Red Onion Saloon, and it's been around since forever. It was originally a brothel during the Klondike Gold Rush days. These days it's obviously a tourist thing, and you go in there and everyone's, dressed up like they were in the 1800s during the Klondike Gold Rush. A couple of years ago, well, actually about 18 months ago, we were there, and an attractive girl, one of the girls working there, is walking by while me and my wife are getting lunch, and I happen to glance up, smile. She stops at the table and tells my wife, honey, we charge by the glance here, and your husband's running up a tab. Now, the gentleman that we talked to about the train gave us a few facts about Skagway that I thought were interesting. The first one is, they see about 200 inches of snow every single year. It's actually over that. I looked up the stats. It's 250 inches of snow on average every single year. The national average is 27 inches. He said it rains a lot, but really it's not much higher than the national average. The national average is 38 inches a year, and Skagway sees about 41.3 inches a year. So weather can be challenging here, and mostly it's because of the snow. They only see about 85 sunny days per year in Skagway, and the average for the United States is 205. Here's something interesting. I was looking over all the stats for Skagway. You normally don't find an out-of-the-way town has anything really positive, but like you just saw a minute ago, their crime rate is very low, and their schools, Area Vibe gives them an A+. That's usually the first thing that sucks in a out-of-the-way town, like Skagway normally, but no, they're doing great with their schools. All right, so that was my day in Skagway, Alaska. Very interesting little town. That is my third or fourth time I've been there. I've never been there to see its full capacity. I went there one time in like a late July, so should have been the peak of the season, but that was during COVID, so everything was a little watered down. Maybe one of these days I'll make it there like in a June when they're just at the height and see what it's really like. But after my day in Skagway, I got back on the cruise ship and headed to Glacier Bay. If you ever do take an Alaskan cruise, make sure you take one that includes Glacier Bay. Not all of them do. It's a national park, and they limit how many cruise ships can actually go in there each day. All right, everyone, have a great day. Be nice to each other.